it once. We lit on fire, then turned to dust. Here I thought we had eternity.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Lightcast. I am Jay, otherwise known as Joe over on Twitch. I hope everyone's having an amazing day. Today, if you couldn't hear from that amazing song, we are joined by Jennifer Jess.
Hello.
Welcome back, Jen. I feel like
Thank
now,
you.
I feel like I don't even need to say welcome back because like you've been here so many times. It's been like, this is your third time on. So it's feeling kind
nice
of
to come
natural.
back.
I was so happy when you reached out and he's like, maybe we'll do a talk. I was like, I'd love to do a talk.
Yeah. You always ask really interesting questions. Seriously, it's nice.
I was forgot to tell you before we came on that this I think it was Roots. Was it Roots you did last time? It was Roots.
Yes.
That had like over 150 downloads in like the first day.
Oh, did it?
That went like insane. So people
I didn't
really
even know
enjoyed
that. Wow.
Yeah, so like I love doing a little bit of a deep dive because it's really I think it not just for me because obviously I'm a fan of you, but I also think that people like came into my stream after watching that from like your chat and they were saying that it was really good to, hear about the song because obviously, I know you talk about a lot on your stream, but also like to kind of dive into the song in a way of like, just a half an hour little episode is quite good for people to understand. And when they go listen to the song again, I feel like they get a really good insight. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So In the Rain came out. When did it come out? Last week? If we're
Yes.
talking,
Last Friday.
How's it going?
It's going really well. We're I'm monitoring it as on Spotify, because they give you like the live count and everything. And it's past 2,000 streams now, so
Ooh.
we're on our way. It's the liftoff phase,
Yeah,
I think of it as like an airplane analogy. I talked about this on my stream the other day. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I was like, I was trying to get your head around and say, okay, see what you're doing, Jen. Like lift
Yep.
off. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So how's it going with like the push and stuff? Are you doing anything different this time, or are you kind of following your natural route of marketing?
Oh, I'm doing some different stuff. I'm gonna see how it pans out. I try and approach it a little like if it didn't go well last time, like I try and approach it differently the next time, and I'm just always learning in that area. But I think like the one thing that I've been doing more is posting on social media. So I've been trying to do that a lot more because when it comes down to it, that's just one of the best ways. But I am doing some like paid marketing behind the scenes, but I haven't seen it. We're going to see how it works out. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think we spoke about this before, but like obviously because you're a solo artist and you haven't got like, a massive team behind you, I think it's really good for you to like experiment because like, every song's different. So like, you're trying, I think we spoke about this last time, like, talking about Roots, it's kind of like a Christian song, right? Like kind of going, but then having In the Rain, I don't know what genre, what genre would you put In the Rain under? It's
In
more,
the Rain, I feel like it's still pop. It's just, it's a ballad.
Slower. But yeah. But I think it's quite good to experiment with everything because,
every song's different. It's like you have the same general idea for marketing a song, but each song is so different that you can do different things with marketing it. And it's very interesting to just, I don't think I haven't released a sad ballad in a long time. So it's been interesting advertising. I feel like the easiest songs to advertise or like market are upbeat ones because it's just so easy to get on there, dance to it and all this kind of stuff. When it's a slow one, it's like, okay, let me get on Instagram and look really sad right now. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's quite good to show your like relation behind it as well because like when you speak about like what the song's about and stuff on your Twitch, I think it's like with a an upbeat song, you kind of just don't really have to explain that, like go dance to it, you don't need to know what it's about. But then with a sadder song, you're kind of like, oh, what's the meaning behind this? I'd like to know about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you like to dive into the meaning of the song? I know you did it on Twitch the other day.
Yeah, I've talked about this one a bit, and it's one of those where the writing of it was just I would consider it one of my most vulnerable songs. And also like one of my most metaphorical songs as well. One thing I liked about the song was that it was more poetic than some of my other songs. That if you wrote it on a piece of paper and just read it out loud, it'd be like, oh, they're reading a poem. Like it sounds kind of like a poem when you read it out loud. But yeah, I was, it was like a couple years ago or so, I was sitting at a piano, and I was, out of state, and no one was in the room. It was this nice grand piano. It was out of pitch, but that's okay, because I grew up on my grandfather's piano, which was always out of pitch, but it was out of pitch with itself. So the fact that it was out of pitch with itself, it was still kind of quote unquote in tune, even though it wasn't.
Yeah.
But I was used to it. But so yeah, I started writing the song literally I just gotten off the phone with the person I had we had broken up and everything, and I started writing the song and just like crying on the piano, and my hands were like slipping in my tears, and it was all very dramatic. It was one of my most dramatic songwriting sessions, but it was it was very real. It was very vulnerable, and it was one of those
in the rain.
Yeah, exactly. My tears were the rain. It was one of those songs where it took only about 20 to 30 minutes to write. I had like the general idea and a lot of the lyrics and melody. So,
were you kind of scared about showing that like vulnerability, or were you kind of like, because it's been a while?
I think it wasn't vulnerability. I don't feel like has ever been incredibly scary for me. It's always felt kind of natural, because I feel like I almost feel like I need to write a song, because I'm gonna explode if I don't. And that's how I felt that day. I think I was like, let me just it just helped me get out all my feelings and stuff. So you
can definitely hear that. Yeah, like that's I think when I was in your Twitch chat the other day, a lot of people were saying that like, it's just like really nice to listen to, and I can relate to it, and like you were saying about going back to the marketing of like trying to market a sad song, it's a little bit different to show that almost vulnerability, but I bet you're used to it now of like Blue and stuff like that. It kind of had that similar vibe in a way.
It is definitely. I mean, Blue and In the Rain are both based on the same subjects, but the difference being that Blue is upbeat. So it's like Blue sort of tricks you. It's like, yes, it's a sad song, but you're gonna dance.
I mean, we spoke about this before, but Blue is your most successable song, isn't it?
Yeah, and my very first one. I'm just like, man. So yeah, I've just been like, ever since Blue, I've just been experimenting and trying out different sounds, and I feel like I feel like this year I came the closest to discovering like what I really want to do with my sound. And that is that what's similar to that sound is going to be the song that I release on October 13th, called Dark of Night. And so I sort of, which I'll probably hit you up for that one too, and we can chat about it.
We love it. I think we spoke about them before. I don't know if this is correct, but is it for a movie, or is that a whole nother one?
Yeah, this is the one that was I wrote for the intent of an independent film. And it was interesting just in that meeting that I was having with the director that day, that he brought up the fact that, that I might, writing in this direction of more this dark pop sound, he just mentioned how I might find my sound, or I might find that I like writing in that kind of way. And it was very interesting. I just because I definitely feel that way now that I wrote the song. I'm like, wow, I want to do more like this one.
So would you say that's like something completely new for you, or would you say it's something similar to like, I don't know, Imagine You or Blue or In the Rain?
I think it's it's still me, and like the way I write, the way I sing, that is pretty much this very similar throughout all my songs, and including this one. It's just this one, it's a way different approach to the production of it and the approach. So
it's a lot of experimenting, but like I think something else to add is because you've been on Twitch for so long now, and you get all these song requests in as well. Do you think that's given you a lot of like diversity of your voice? Because you're asked to sing Adele, you're asked to sing everything. So like, would you say that like doing that for a while has definitely given you like a good range?
Definitely. And I've been asked to sing so many obscure songs from so many artists like that I've never heard before. I honestly, and then there's some artists like that have, just the same following as I do, like they're a little bit smaller, and and I'll sing their songs. So it's like songs I never would have heard before if it weren't for people requesting them. I've gotten to sing, which has been really cool. But it's
Awesome,
it's definitely added a lot of diversity to the way I think about music and just how many songs I know now, thanks to all my Twitch viewers requesting them.
yeah. Have you still got a biggest inspiration from like someone from music? Like, is there someone that inspires you a lot, or is there someone? It's kind of like a mix of people.
Oh, yeah, I feel like it's a mix of people. Um, yeah, it used to be where it was just a few artists that I was super inspired
Yeah,
by, but these days it's just so many different ones. I mean, I'm always gonna be a fan of Sia
yeah.
and Emily Sandé.
We love Emily Sandé.
I'm always gonna be a fan of them or like Jessie J.
Yeah,
Um,
I miss her, and I also miss Emily Sandé. Like, we haven't seen a lot of her recently
okay.
either. You
Well,
know?
I know Jessie J had a baby, so that's
Yeah,
why she's
yeah,
been a little MIA. But Emily Sandé, yeah, I haven't heard much from her, but I
yeah.
still listen to all of her old songs and
Yeah, when
they
I was
don't get
growing up,
old.
she was everywhere. Like, she was so good. I honestly like. I don't know. I don't know like, where she went. Like, same with Jennifer Jess. Not Jennifer Jess. Sorry, Jessie J. You've got very
Yeah,
similar names.
well, yeah, me too.
But she kind of like, she had like Bang Bang with like Ariana Grande and Nicki
Yeah,
Minaj, and then like after that, like I don't know, I think she had an album,
yeah,
but I
she
don't
did.
know if it went the way she planned or I don't know.
I think there is some stuff that happened behind the scenes, like with either her recording, like the
Yeah,
people managing her, or I think there was some stuff behind the scenes. She's briefly touched on that on her Instagram, and I guess she's without a manager right now.
yeah,
So yeah, I don't know. She released one song called Heaven Bound, which is really good. I like that a lot. But that
I
was
need to
super
listen to her.
recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I did know she was still releasing music, but I just don't like. I just thought like, oh, I don't know if it's going her way or anything. Because she was actually, I don't know if you know this, but it's like a judge on The Voice. Do you know that?
Oh, I think so.
Not the US edition. It was the UK
Yeah.
edition.
Yeah.
So she was, yeah, she was like kind of in the public eye on that for a while. And I think in a way that also gave her a lot of publicity because it's a huge show here. So like seeing her on
Yeah.
TV, everyone was kind of. But she's really really talented. Like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, she's so underrated. I feel like she's just her, honestly, her and Tori Kelly are both like
Yeah.
they didn't blow up as much as I thought they would. Um but their talent is out of this world and I don't understand why they haven't blown up a
I
bunch,
look
you
at that
know?
sometimes. I look at your music, Jen. I'm like, when are you gonna blow up, Jen? Let's just keep looking at this. I feel like going
Yeah.
out to people like, have you seen this song? Like, why are people listening to this? But like,
It's
definitely going back to
yeah.
like Jessie J in a way. Like, she had her time in the light. I think Bang Bang is a huge song, isn't it? That song's like blown up.
Yeah.
I think it has
Yeah,
over like a
that
billion
one.
streams.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's her counterparts like, Nicki Minaj and Ariana Grande that are the kind of
Yeah,
the reason that one blew up so
yeah,
much.
yeah,
But when they performed it live, I was like, okay, someone here is obviously the biggest star, like
yeah.
talent wise. Uh Jessie J, um,
It's weird how it works. It is really weird how it works. I think I don't. I think it's sometimes in a way there is a lot of luck in a way. It's not always about what you release as well. It's also about like if you have such a big song to try hit it again and again and again can be quite tricky.
yeah. I feel like it's a whole bunch of that whole, preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so like when you get those open doors, you get those moments of like, oh my gosh, this is it. I need to go for this opportunity or whatever. Or some may say luck, if you are fully prepared and ready, you can
yeah.
just step into that and go. So that I think that like so much of a music career is just like getting prepared for when your
Yeah.
open door happens.
I feel like everything in music, like we speak about it loads of times. It is so difficult. I feel like I have this argument with a lot of people that like a lot of musicians kind of sit on this verge of like kind of being popular for now, but then what makes them like icons and legends? You know what I mean? Like what makes your
Yeah.
name as big as a singer? Like I don't know, Michael Jackson, Beyonce. Do you know what I mean? So I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of singers obviously struggle with it, and even on your scale as well, you still struggle with trying to keep your stuff going, all that. So like it's not an
Yeah.
easy thing to talk about.
No, it's definitely not. And I know the people that like Michael Jackson and some of the legends, I mean, they just like dedicated their whole
Yeah,
life
yeah.
to their music. Like that was a giant percentage of their life. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love talking about music. Like, I love talking about music on Twitch as well. Like, even though I'm not, in the industry or anything, I love speaking about it to you and especially like people on Twitch as well. Like what they like to listen to, and like we always have an argument, Jen. And I want your opinion on it right now.
Okay.
I really
Yeah.
want. This is going to be. Taylor Swift at the minute. You're a fan of Taylor
Yes.
Swift. She's,
Yes.
living in her biggest time. She's in her
Yeah.
moment. Would you say that she is like more famous than Beyonce? Would you say? What would you say about that?
During this current period of
Yeah,
time of Beyonce and Taylor Swift, I would say Taylor Swift is more famous.
yeah, I would agree in a way with that. But also,
Yeah.
my argument for it, because I love them both equally,
Yeah.
um, is do you think that Beyonce maybe had that maybe 10 years ago, and she is
Yeah,
kind of living in a,
I feel like Beyonce definitely had sort of
you
her
know, you know,
era.
her like
And
Coachella performance and like
yeah,
Halo, and she was like crazy in love and all
yeah.
that.
Honestly, like I feel like she sort of moved away, at least in some of the recent albums that I've heard, she sort of moved away from some of her more melodic songs, the ones that
Yeah,
really showed off her talent and her incredible voice. I think when she started moving away from those, honestly, personally, I started becoming a little bit more disinterested.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I loved one of my favorite songs from her was Daddy Lessons. I don't
yeah,
know if you've heard that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
So soulful, so good. You got to hear her voice, like Halo, of course, all those, big best thing I never had or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I love all her songs. I love her first album. Do you know B-Day with like Irreplaceable, Deja
Yeah.
Vu. I love that.
Yeah. Oh, the
But
whole box to the left thing.
yeah, yeah,
Back
yeah, yeah.
when everyone was using that phrase was, I feel like, her peak.
When I saw her
Personally.
this year, she came to London for 5 shows and she didn't actually have that on her set list. And me and my sister held up a sign saying, "Please sing Irreplaceable. We love it."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I've got to say though, her newest album that came up, Break My Soul and stuff like that. That actually is my favorite album of all time. It's,
Oh, I
it
don't
is
know
my
if I've
most
heard
streamed.
that one.
It's it's very, very different. So it's called, do you know it's called Renaissance? I don't know if you know that, but it's very much her. She made it in COVID, and she basically devoted kind of just wanting to be something different. Like that's what's called Renaissance. She just wanted to do something different. Like she completely just wanted to have fun, and she wrote it a lot for I mean, minorities, like LGBT pride and other things. And she
Yeah.
I think it's a whole deep story. Like she read about her uncle who sadly passed away because he was attacked for being gay, and it's all about just like
Um,
proper pride, and like it's all about have you heard Break My Soul? You
I
must.
feel like, is that the one? Oh gosh, I feel like I hear it in my head right now.
You won't break my soul.
Yes, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I've heard that
So
one.
it's all that vibe, like proper, like it's definitely worth a listen, but I don't know
Okay.
if you will like it because
I feel like I've heard Break My Soul. I think it came out as a single.
yeah, it did. It was
I,
was it last year? Last year it was quite a big song on the radio.
okay, yeah, I did hear that. I just didn't hear any of her other songs, I don't think.
I think like if you listen to something like B-Day and then you listen to Renaissance, it's like okay, but if you kind of hear the story behind it and then a couple listens, you're like, oh, okay, this is like it's definitely a dance album. Like
Yeah, yeah.
very much like I don't know, it's very much like even like drum and bass sometimes. It's like it's proper like you can kind of applaud her for it because it's like she's done something so different and she still sounds
Yeah.
amazing. And then when you see it live as well, you're just like, oh my god.
Right, right.
It's
And
worth
and
a
also
listen.
yeah, and just like the subject of Taylor Swift and Beyonce, I mean like Taylor Swift is just yeah, she's like kind of taken over honestly. Like she's
As
definitely like giant. I think I don't know, Beyonce like she's big too, but yeah, I just don't hear about her as much as I do Taylor Swift.
yeah, 100%. I
But
also like in a way, I love them both equally. But I don't know if I kind of said to like someone like my nan, someone older, like, do you know Beyonce? She'd be like, oh yeah, but if, Taylor Swift, she might be like, oh, I don't know who
yeah,
that is. So it's like, I think that in a way, Beyonce might have hit that mark ages
yeah,
and ages ago. And that's kind of going back to like the whole Jessie J thing. Like, oh yeah, like I know that Bang Bang, but like, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's a bit like, yeah, it's all a bit confusing as well because Taylor Swift in a way, like a couple of years ago in lockdown, she kind of had a more quiet, like Evermore and like Folklore, that they did well
Yeah.
for Swifties, but in a way, if you compare it to things like 1989, which is like Shake It Off, that was what made her the biggest, pop star.
Which is crazy because that was actually one of my least favorite songs from her.
Yeah. I really don't like Shake It Off. And
I
I
don't
really
know.
don't like Bad Blood as well. Do you know Bad Blood?
Yeah, and that was okay, but God, there were so many other songs on that album I liked
Yeah.
more.
I love that album. I do love that album. I'm excited for her
Wonderland.
version.
There was a song
Yeah, yeah.
Wonderland. Oh my God, and she really didn't sing it live that much, I don't think, but
Do you know
that
New
was one of my
Romantic?
favorites. Yeah, that one was good.
That's so
And
good.
Clean.
What other ones on there? She has Welcome to New
Welcome to
York,
New York. Yeah, I like
Out
that
of the
one.
Woods, Blank Space, I think's on there.
Oh, that was played
Yeah,
constantly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was another one that was played constantly, but I just can't think of the top of my head. Could be here for ages. But there is another one on there that's quite popular. It's
Well,
Bad
and
Blood is on there.
she's just so good at putting out those singles that get stuck in everyone's head. They get
Yeah,
played
yeah. She knows how to
everywhere.
do it. She knows how to do it. I
Yeah,
think she
yeah,
really tried that with Midnights as well. Like she definitely went from her kind of like personal albums to more like, okay, like here's Antihero. This is gonna. She
yeah.
knew it was gonna blow up.
I thought Midnights was really good, like lyrically, but
Yeah.
I feel like some of the songs melodically, with like the melody and everything, sort of ran together for me a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like when I listen to it in order, I'm a bit like, yeah, it's really good, but like if I listen to it maybe without listening to order, I might skip over it a little bit because it's a bit like, a
It's
lot
some
of
of
them.
the
There's about 3 or
yeah,
4 songs there that kind of sound the same, but if you put them
yeah.
together,
That's
it's
what
a
I
little
was
bit.
thinking. I love like Anti-Hero and a few other songs on there,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
some of them don't stick out to me as much.
Have you had a chance to listen to Olivia Rodrigo's new album? Because I know you did the cover of Driver's License, which is on your
So someone
Spotify.
had me live learn Vampire the other day.
Yeah.
And I had heard that before, but it was really fun to sing. Yeah.
That's my
And
favorite album in it. It came out on Friday. I went to the store and
okay.
instantly bought the vinyl.
Oh, that's
I'm a big fan.
awesome.
But I
That's
recommend
awesome.
listening. You'll really like that. That's if Beyonce's newest album that came out last year is very much like to one audience the way like you can either love it or you might be like, oh no, this is a bit too heavy. But I definitely think you're like there's some songs on there that are like I think you'd really like to sing.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
I think
Olivia,
you would.
it's so funny. A lot of Olivia Rodrigo's songs are so easy for me to sing. Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
just in
yeah.
my perfect range, and I'm like,
I noticed
okay,
that when because I have all your songs on my streaming playlist, and when you sing Driver's License, because I know that was a cover you put onto Spotify, it really really suits your voice. Like people will say like, "Are you going to get copyrighted for this?" I'm like, "No, this is Jen singing it."
oh, that's funny.
So
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, like, this is not Olivia Rodrigo, but like she does have that range of
yeah,
because she's quite young as well. Like she's very
yeah.
she's just amazing. I think she's really good.
Yeah. I want to write some songs like hers. Hers are very
Yeah, yeah,
some of hers though actually sound like other people's. Like I know
yeah,
she's been running into some of that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's the whole drama of Taylor Swift.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, she did on her newest album. She did write a song about that, which it's kind of sad. You can see her point of view because she used to be a massive fan of Taylor Swift. Like she was the hugest Swiftie.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes when you're writing, you accidentally subconsciously
yeah, yeah,
write in a way that is so similar to some of your favorite artists.
exactly. Like I love Taylor, but
Yeah.
to take 50% of someone's earnings off a song that she kind of accidentally did a
Yeah.
little bit of yours is like, do you need that money? Do you need it? But
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
back to In the Rain though, going back to In the Rain. I want to talk a little about the cover. What just going about like the cover of the song? You on the beach. Was there anything behind that that made you think I'm
Yeah.
gonna go on the beach and take this photo?
Well, so it goes off. So if you look into the distance of the album cover,
Yeah.
like there's a little boat, a little sailboat out there on the water. And
Oh
some
yeah.
people don't notice that at first. You just have to look. It's right there on the horizon. But that little boat is like the lyric in the song. How's it go?
Double Jen.
On the our love drifted away on the sailboat. You said we would sail someday.
Yeah.
And so I'm basically looking out to the sailboat, and then the sky is forming with storm clouds. So as soon as in my head, as soon as the sailboat disappears off of the horizon, then it's going to start raining. So it's not
Okay.
raining
I love
yet, but when he's officially gone, that's when it starts. Which, the
Yeah.
rain is my
Wow.
tears, etc.
I think this song. I think you speak about this on your Twitch the other day, but it's so like metaphorical and it's really like once you hear the story behind it, and I think I was listening to this as well, like hearing it from your side again of just like how I don't know, like metaphorical it is. Like it's really like you're like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
listening to it again after this, I feel like definitely having that insight makes a song even better than it
Yeah.
already is.
Yeah, and it just happened to be that day, like I guess when you're in your most vulnerable moments, sometimes those metaphors pop out more easily. I feel like that's what happened to me that day. Yeah, because it's almost with this song, it's almost gosh, every few couple lines there's another metaphor, which
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like I was listening to this one thing one time. It was actually a book by L.A. Reid called "Sing to Me." I think that's what it was called. And I remember reading it back in the day, and he made a quote because he worked with Avril Lavigne and like a whole bunch of
Mhm.
different really popular people. And he was like, something I would love to see in today's music industry is more poetic songwriting.
Yeah.
And so I always kind of held on to that. And that's something I work towards. But I feel like this song was a great step in that direction of writing more poetically. So
I
yeah.
think behind songs as well, like obviously, like you said this earlier, but like having if you wrote this song down on a piece of paper, it would be like reading a poem. I feel like songs are literally in the day, you know. So like reading songs like this, it's like listening to it properly. You're like, oh my god, this is literally kind of like someone has actually wrote this. It does have a
Yeah.
meaning, and you know,
Yeah.
like the whole poem thing. I feel like that's actually because would you say that's happened with your other singles? Like I feel like I don't know, like is
Somewhat.
that
I
yeah.
think like I think you when in songwriting you always try to not hit the nail on the head, like, or like there's different words for the phrase, or sort of like you don't want to hit it right on the bullseye, because if you do that, that's when songwriting kind of sounds too
Yeah.
obvious and too like it's hard hard to describe. But if you've ever heard someone that's like right in the beginning of their songwriting process and the
Yeah.
way they write is just it's too on the like spot, it's just uh so you basically want to be able to say something without saying it, I guess, is my goal.
Interesting. Yeah.
And which, that's where different like speech comes in, like metaphors, and there's other, similes or whatever. But that I feel like the most interesting writing is the ones that say something without saying it directly.
Yeah.
So, which honestly, like Taylor Swift does a fabulous job of that. And I think that's why she's so popular. That's one of the reasons.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely. So what we're gonna see of you in the future, Jen? You know we spoke about your latest single coming out for that movie. Is there
Yeah.
are we getting more singles? Are you working on something else?
Yeah, I think I'm going to continue in the single direction.
Yeah.
For now, as it's a very single driven market still, and it's
Yeah.
just a lot easier to put your full focus on one song instead of like several from an EP or an album.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's more singles, and Dark of Night may be the last single of this year, or it may not. We'll see.
You're popping off
Um,
this year. You really are.
yeah, I'm trying to. There were like 4 or 5 months where there was stuff going behind the scenes that was making it hard to release. And so now I'm finally like, okay, let's go.
You said that the other day. You said that the other day, like
Yeah.
these songs have been made for like a year until you like you said it on your Twitch, like it feels like, oh, like I don't know how to relate to these songs because like I have to relate to them in a different way because like I
Yeah.
made these songs ages ago.
Right, exactly. So I have to sort of bring myself back into that emotional
Yeah.
moment, and which honestly, I think the hardest part of doing this song was like I had sort of put the past. I have put the past completely behind me, but I just like I made the lyric video for this song, and I just remember like having to listen to this song over and over and over again, making the lyric video. And so I was forced to think about how I felt back then because I needed to build the story as best as I could with
Yeah.
like the pictures I used in my lyric video. And so that was hard, not because I'm still going through it, but because I felt for the version of me that was so hurt back then. And so, yeah, it was sort of like, okay, here we are. We're back thinking about all this crap again,
It's
So,
interesting. It's interesting. I guess how would you say you related to it in this way then? Like what are you relating to it now? Are you kind of relating to it in
now,
like a past thing or are you like
yeah, now I sort of, I just, I sort of, I think back to how I felt back then, but honestly, those feelings just aren't as strong anymore, if at all. So yeah, now when I sing it, I purely just think about maybe how it doesn't even have to be like, I know the song is sort of written romantically, or it's about someone that you've let go of, or they let go of you. But now I just think of something that's sad. So it doesn't even have to be romantic. I just think about something, a struggle that I might be having, and then that sort of helps me put the emotion into the song. So
just to end it off, where can they find the song? What's the best place to support the song? What can they do to help? Go for it. Let everyone know.
Yeah. So as always, you can find me on all of my social medias are at Jennifer Jess Music, except for Twitter, which is at Jen Jess Music. There's always my website, www.jenniferjess.com. And to help the song grow, honestly, it's just listening to it on all the different streaming platforms helps. Also adding it to your user playlist. So if you have a playlist on Spotify or something like that, and you add the song to it, that really helps the algorithm because it says, okay, this song is getting added to a bunch of playlists. Let's boost it some more in the algorithm. And so it kind of helps it. And it doesn't even matter if the user playlist only has like 2 followers. It still helps the algorithm. So that, and just sharing it with your friends or people, if you're digging it, Yeah.
100%. So all them links as well will be in the description of the podcast as well if you're watching on YouTube, whatever, wherever you listen to. It should be in the links there, guys. And also, Jennifer is pretty easy to find if you go onto my socials as well. And I just want to say a massive thank you for Jen for joining us again for another deep dive.
Yes,
I really hope
absolutely.
everyone enjoyed it from Jen's side and my side. And I hope to see you again soon, Jen. Thank you so much for coming in.
I'm sure you will. I'd love to chat about the one coming October 13th.
Oh, okay. I'm excited for that. You're really bigging this one up.
I know. I'm just like, okay, but here's the thing, and I'll just say this one last thing is that I have made a big deal about it on my Twitch and stuff like that. And part of me is like, oh dear, what if I, I hope they like it. But I think for me, it's really just coming from a place of, even if it wasn't the most perfect song ever, even if it wasn't like this incredible smash hit or anything like that, I think why it's so special to me is because it's going in a direction that I've never been before, and that's exciting. So
we're 100% gonna love it. We love In the Rain, and we're gonna love every single single that comes from you, Jen, I think.
Thank you
so much. It's kind of impossible not to. So everyone, please go check out Jen, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a rest of your day. Thanks so much for coming in. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I've tried everything to bring you back to me, but your love drifted away on the sailboat you